Think it's already.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so right now, I guess tell me a little bit more about what you're doing as far as business goes.
What's up, John? And everyone that's listening, I have a few projects running right now,
Hmm.
currently. One is managing sales teams,
Hmm.
helping online business owners. They're doing six figures and above with their acquisition systems. Mainly it's services, info products, SaaS in the US market.
Hmm.
And also, I'm making my own mastermind. I'm putting that on the next level. It's called
Nice.
Gentleman's Embassy, where we help entrepreneurs really with their holistic approach from their personal development, fitness, and of course, helping them scale to the next level in the business.
Okay.
And of course, I
Nice.
always have some consulting plans here and there. So
Right.
got a deal making whenever they go through. What about you?
That makes sense. Yeah, so I mean, I'm doing something similar to what you're doing as far as the managing side goes. I'm doing more B2B. So, dude, I've done so many high ticket sales gigs. The biggest problem is, and I understand it comes from a marketing aspect to where you need to really filter out these people, but I just would way more prefer to just sell services and SaaS to business owners. So that's what I'm doing. I'm partnering up with these companies. Similar thing, we run the full back end. Typically, we're just running paid ads, and then we run their funnels, we run their sales team, stuff like that. I do it more on a basis of like my whole background is like I've kind of gone back and forth with this. I would prefer to just work with companies and do more for them and go deeper with them than be spread thin. Because I've seen so many guys to where they're running a simple, similar model. Maybe there's a bunch of different terms you can call it. Growth operator, sales agency
Yeah,
owner. And they have, 10 or 15 clients. I know a guy that was running it with 30 clients. And it's
that's
like, bro, I
crazy.
don't want to be spread too thin. And it's a constant game to where I'm trying to figure out. I know I can always do more, but it's always like some days it's like I would rather just work with, one or two guys. So I'm really only working with three people max. And then because it is B2B and we're doing a lot of SaaS stuff, it's like I'm just gonna be partners with them and we're gonna take it to the finish line, whatever that is.
Exactly. That's what I'm seeing, of course, in the space as well. People are spreading themselves too thin. And of course, scaling one to many seems to be the better way. If you're doing one to one, there's only so much you can handle. But what I saw, that sweet spot in between would be the best. You have the stability, you have the cash flow, good clientele that you can pick that
Hmm.
actually have good operations, good mindset, culture fit is there, and you are on the same pace. So it's
Yeah,
a mutual win.
100%. So I guess bring me back. So was your starting point just getting into high ticket sales, or how did you get into all this?
Yes, I was part in the B2B. I'm boring European wholesale. And
Hmm.
it was around 4 years when I transitioned into the online remote, had to get space, if you will. So, and after that, the rest is history. So I
Yeah.
think the biggest turning point was that lockdown period when everyone had a lot of money, didn't know what to do, and the whole
Hmm.
industry exploded from there. And that's how we got the industry growing so fast.
Yeah, 100%. So you're doing full back end operations too. So you're doing full sales management and running the marketing, or what are you doing specifically for these
Yeah,
companies?
I have my friends and colleagues. Depends of each project. Project is unique. Depends what they need at the moment. Usually they need everything, but the number one thing is you have actually marketing and sales to be in sync. So marketer, they're just looking at the hits. They just want everyone to have their cost per lead to be as low as possible, which is where
Hmm.
it makes sense. But at the end, what matters is that return on the ad spend and the total conversions. So in my opinion, it's much better to have a lean team, even though is if your cost per book meeting is much higher, but you have much more quality and team is more happier. They
Hmm.
stay with you long term. You have much
Yeah.
lower churn and burn, and maybe you can have some SDRs or someone to warm them up and people that didn't opt in on the webinar or book a call funnel, whatever they pick.
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is, I'm on the same page. Is like it's hard to run the sales team and not be involved with the marketing. A lot of people, unless you're the business owner, everyone else is looking at it in a vacuum. It's like marketing, like you said, they want to get leads as cheap as possible. But then if you're getting extremely cheap leads and you're only optimizing for cheap leads, the sales team is going to be bitching about getting unqualified and vice versa. So my whole thing was like, I was running more of the sales agency model to where we were just coming in, bringing in all the setters and all the closers. And then there was another guy that was running the ads, not part of my team. The biggest issue was like I'm a guy to where I'm a control freak. Like I need to, if I don't like the way something's being run, like I need to handle it myself. So that's essentially what I did. Because if you actually just take a look at it as just one engine as a business owner, you're not looking at it from two separate things, you're just gonna have a way better system. Because at the end of the day, like you can have sales and marketing fighting all day long, but if you're just giving a little bit of background as far as how the marketing funnel is working, how the leads are actually coming in, specifically for setters and closers, but also you can have some meetings with both your sales team and your marketing team, and they can kind of coexist. It just works a lot better. So that's kind of
Yeah,
what,
and
what I've seen.
yeah, today that's the most critical point because prospects are complaining it's a bait and switch. They're misled. They didn't expected that to be pitched, and a lot of people are having problem there between high ticket and low ticket. So they're in between, and it's a gray zone. So they're no bueno. It's no good for
Mhm.
anyone.
Yeah,
If they're doing tripwire that ascension offer, they can do that, but they need to strategically see who makes what makes sense for them to really invest their time with. And a lot of people are afraid to really charge premium because it's so much more to really acquire those customers, but usually they're much better and easier
right.
to work with.
Yeah, 100%. Do you watch like Jeremy Haynes videos at all? You
Yeah,
seen him?
sometimes, yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah. I like his videos because he just kind of says it how it is, but he's like, dude, like, for lack of better terms, like, I just hate working with poor people. And the biggest thing is like, sure, there's obviously a market for that, but like, as Hermosi always talks about it, it's like for you to scale a company to where you're winning on price, it's like you got to take out an insane amount of debt and it takes a while. But like, if you really just want to niche down and you're a smaller company, it's like you just got to niche down and actually just charge as much as possible. And that's what I really like because it's like, dude, I would much rather, especially if you're a business owner that has to do the fulfillment, especially if you're doing service. I know you're doing info as well, but like if you're doing service as well, it's like if you can just charge way more and just take on less clients, not only are you going to have better clients, but fulfillment's going to be way better versus you just charging middle ground or lower prices. What's the big thing?
Exactly. At the beginning, for some people, doesn't make sense. They're scared to do the thing. The people that are paying premium that have some insane amount of requirements. Actually, it's vice versa. People that are getting free books or ebooks for $5 or
Yeah.
97 or 9.97, they're the worst nightmare. They want to squeeze insane amount of value. They're never satisfied with whatever you give it to them. They
Yep.
always want more. So that's the thing. And people who are actually have business that's at a very high level, they have a lot of other things going on, so they don't have time to battle with you, and they expect you to do your job perfectly. That's why they're
Mhm.
paying premium because they don't want to lose time for something they're not qualified.
Yeah,
That
100%.
that's why they scale. They delegate it. They double down on what they know to do best, and they invested and work with the professionals. That's the only
Mhm.
way to scale. And just I'm always using that example that you mentioned. If you're not, I don't know, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, or someone that has all around the world
Yeah.
billions of people that you can reach, it's impossible for a small business or let's say startup without some VC funding of billions to really compete with anyone on price and volume. We are seeing those products everywhere, but it's very hard because just the cost of operations and everything and the actual team that needs to be around that kind of project on that
Mhm.
scale
Right.
is very difficult to achieve. It's not fun. It's super slow. You need to reinvest everything, and it's so much better to work like a high end boutique niche agency, if you will.
Mhm.
That's Is it a paper lead? Is it a SaaS? Is it some
Yeah.
type of consultancy done for you, done with you? The bigger the clientele, the better it is. And I was fortunate enough to work with a lot of Inc. 5000, Fortune 500 companies, uh, and that's what I saw. People just want to delegate, they want to
Hmm.
focus, they do the best, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the secret. It's gonna get your profit margin to be much thinner, but that way we can scale. There are
Right.
only so many hours in a day that you
Mhm.
can actually, and it's not worth to have more profit margins down the road after 35, 45, when you have family, other things going on. It's a nightmare.
Hmm. Yeah, no, 100%. Are you guys running any, as far as you guys goes for info, any low ticket ascension offers or no?
Right now, no, but depends. Usually people are not in the healthcare now and telehealth. Now, one of the most popular offers are those
Right.
peptides and everything around it. I don't know, billion trillion dollar market. For that kind of offers, it makes sense. And I was also speaking with a friend of mine. Webinar offers are doing amazing for that kind of five grand, 10 grand ticket. But all the CEOs, all the top people, they don't have time for that, for those low ticket
Right.
prices to barter. For them, it's usually LinkedIn, cold calls, book a call, do cold close, invoice, and that's it.
Hmm.
So for the most part, every offer is unique, every market. So it depends. But I would say if you can skip it, make it less friction if possible, for the most part.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I've worked with so many different info companies. And dude, everyone loves the low ticket ascension because I mean it makes sense. It's like, oh, I'm gonna liquidate my ad spend on the front end. But on the sales aspect to it, it's like every single time that I was managing setters and we were dialing people as soon as they come in, because obviously that's the name of the game, speed to
Yeah,
lead. It's tough because a lot of those people, number one, they want to look through, which is valid. They want to look through what they just bought. And then number two, it's like it's very, very hard to fill out and filter out people. Maybe if your offer is 10 grand, it's like, well, automatically, even if you have marketing messaging on point, it's like if you're selling something for $47 on the front end, literally anybody can come in. So that's the whole issue that I've seen with the
people are expecting complete solution for $97 or whatever,
right.
and all people that are doing anything meaningful, they know they cannot get premium service for anything less than a few thousand, whatever it is. Is it a website? Is it a marketing? Is it whatever it is? So that's the problem. That the whole mindset, people are expecting the complete fulfillment, and that's actually just a little bit of also on the copywriting and marketing team. They want to put as many perks and add-ons in that small package, so it's they're over delivering, but that's a double-edged sword. So it's much harder to ascend, because in all messaging that are seen, it's always, you don't need anything else, you need just this will take care of everything.
Right.
And people are like, okay, I'll try with this, and then I'll continue. And people are so much more sophisticated nowadays. If you're missing out all the sales tactics, they're
Right.
not working much. They know they have plenty of opportunities. They're not in a rush for the most part, and they're much harder to manipulate. So because they're on their phones 24/7, they're seeing the same ads, same people. They've been following them for months and years. They've been on a lot of sales calls. They know what's up. So people need to really go from a perspective to really help them and to see, are they a good fit? Because what was the biggest differentiator from the real people who are making real impact, the best
Mm.
closers and the intermediate or mediocre ones, are the thing that the good closers, they're not wasting time. They want to disqualify fast.
Right.
And mediocre business owners, they have that fear mindset. They want to squeeze every lead, and they want to
Yeah,
make
fuck
someone
that.
that's not a fit at all costs of 2 hours of objection handling to make them a fit. We know for the most part, it's not possible. And even if they get on, they want to refund. They're a bad fit, bad energy to work with, and it's
Hmm.
so hard. That's why I like to go straight for those low five-figure offers,
Yeah,
because you're
100%.
saving so much time. It's better to have 5 qualified calls, then have 20, and they're all those ascension offers, and you're just
Mhm.
wasting time, a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, 100%. No, that was, I mean, that was my biggest issue when I was running my sales agency. And you mentioned it previously. It's like there are so many people that they want to drop price at the end of the call, whether you are in sales or a marketer or you're the business owner. Everyone is so focused on doing that at the end of the call. Now, I
Mhm.
understand the psychology. It's like obviously, you don't want to just drop the price because people become very, very, price focused, and then they can just give you a million objections. But the reality is it's like you got to DQ people as quick as possible. So like so many people, they're like, oh, well, let's just, dance around it and then drop it at the end of the call. It's like, well, first off, there's two things. If marketing doesn't say what the price range is in the front, you get a handful of leads. So then now it becomes a burden to the setters. Setters got to dial it like way more leads that are unqualified. If setters are dancing around it and booking it in, now closers have to do, 45 minute to an hour call. And then they're dropping price at the end. It's like, dude, why wouldn't you just put it in the marketing or at least just have your setters say it up front? So that's like the biggest issue that I've seen it, and it just really doesn't make any sense. My whole psychology with marketing and honestly just being a person in general is like just be as upfront as possible and just speak as direct to your audience as possible. So like for a lot of the ads that I'm running, it's like, hey, this is for $1 million business owners only that are doing $1 million per year in revenue. If you're not here, then like get the fuck out of the form. So like I literally put that like 5 different times, like in the ad creative, in the ad copy, in the landing page, in the forms. If we're doing lead forms, God forbid, we put that 5 different times in the lead forms, and even still, then people are gonna fill it out. But it's like there are so many different business owners that are complaining why they're not closing so many deals, but they're bragging about their cost per lead being low. It's like, my boy, regardless, you're going to have to pay the cost to acquire somebody. You might as well just nip it at the butt and just be as front as possible with it.
Exactly. When you're looking at, there are a lot of young guys. They're starting in marketing. They have some clients, and you can see how good they are because on the things that they're focusing on. Are you focusing on views? Are you focusing
Yeah.
on leads? Are consults booked and everything? The lower you go,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, what matters? Return on ad spend and the cost per acquisition, pretty much very similar thing. Bless you.
Mhm.
So that's what matters. And everyone's promising 100 book calls on that GHL screenshots, but those guys just have a name and email. If you want more money, click here.
Yeah,
That's it. If you
exactly.
want more leads for your business, HVC or whatever, just click here. It's free. It's guaranteed. It's this and that. And that's what I dislike the most. People are just focusing on a ICP that's broke, mediocre, or whatever you want to call them, 9 to 5ers,
Mhm. Yeah.
free with a free consult and free, and the people that paying premium, they're allergic to free because they know it's
Right.
wasting everyone's time. So if it's free, that means it doesn't have much value. What I like is just like you said. It reminds me a few years ago when I joined one mastermind in Austin.
Mhm.
Uh, it was the best form that I've ever saw. It was so easy, so upfront. Hey, it's a pretty much to see if you want to work together, sales call, if you will.
Yep.
But here's the range. This is what we got. Here's the pre-call materials. If you're not right now in a spot to move forward, if everything makes sense, don't book a call. If you are from third world country, don't book a call. If
Yep.
you're, I don't know, whatever, don't book a call.
Hey, if you're
And
Indian, please do
yeah,
not book a
exactly.
call.
Oh yeah, oh those are toughest, and that makes the whole world easier. They're gonna respect you more, and everyone is gonna have much better time. Of course, I do understand that Ascension offer, that onboarding call, which is actually a sales call. It
Sure.
makes sense for a lot of offers so far.
Mhm.
The thing is with them that you need the world-class sales team, and as we know, they're going to churn and burn after a few months because it's super high-paced, high volume, and you need to have amazing team and always be hiring for that one. So
Yeah.
depends. what makes sense for everyone. Obviously, for someone that needs insurance, mortgages, solar, it's a
Yeah,
little bit
it's
different
different,
game
right?
compared to someone who wants a SaaS or cybersecurity, of course.
Yeah, 100%. I know a guy that he would run all plus, what is it? Plus 9-1, which is India, plus 9-2, which is Pakistani, and then plus 8-8-0, which is Bangladesh. He would run anyone that would fill out the form with those country codes. He would send them to McDonald's website. So like it
That's
wouldn't send them to the
fun.
next booking page, which is funny.
That that's fun.
So I guess what's because I could talk about this for hours. What's your opinion as far as, just info and courses in 2026?
That's very interesting. I remember 5, 6 years ago when the industry was just growing. It was so much different than nowadays.
Hmm.
Uh, we had few courses. They're all like 5, 10 grand. That's it. But
Hmm.
now a lot of those coaches and influencers, they're giving so much information on YouTube. Every
Right.
day I see here is the only course on psychology on this, everything you need. It's like 5 hours long, and it's packed with value. And we have so many school groups. They are $20, $100 a month,
Hmm.
and obviously there's so many people out there. And the biggest problem nowadays, we have so much information. One day you see SMMA, well, another day you see real estate, crypto trading,
Yeah.
whatever. There's always some new shiny object syndrome, and people having so many business ideas. If you ask someone, "Hey, you have any business idea?" They have 20. He has 20 of them, and he thinks someone's gonna copy them. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
So the biggest challenge is actually be different, which is very, very challenging. Everyone's using the same hooks, everyone having the same coaches. They're just pretty much copying Hormozy or the biggest guys, more
Yep.
or less. Obviously, the market is growing and evolving every single day. People are spending more and more time on their phones. They're having better mindset. They understand they need to invest to go to the next level for the
Hmm.
most part. So it'll be different. I see a lot of offers going up and down. It's a roller coaster, highly volatile space since day one. It's no
Hmm.
risk, no reward. So people, it's an opportunity. It's not like career. Okay, tech sale is a little bit different, but that's that commission only part. That's what makes the most sense for people that are in their
Right.
early 20s or 30 max. People that are older, for the most part, 90% or so, I see that they want more stability, which it makes sense. Uh, I'm very interested to see what happens, especially when the AI comes. DM setters, appointment setters,
Hmm.
they are they're they're in a fun spot to say at least.
Hmm.
But the whole coaching and I think obviously the people that are at the top they'll stay there. So the
Right.
people that are at the bottom they'll be wiped up. Some of them and they need to adjust to see what the market needs. Everyone's focusing. We have those viral reels of millions of views. You would be astonished how many million uh, influencers have over 1 million followers. They are world renowned. They have even billions of views. Some of my friends are managing those accounts and they're not making almost anything.
Yeah.
Some nickels and dimes. And I have some guy who has 100 best clients. They don't even have Instagram or social media. They're in their 60s. They have serious businesses
Hmm.
and they are printing money. So that's the biggest difference. Actually focusing on something that's going to be there long term. The big
Right.
leverage that's going to stay in time. And of course, everyone that over delivers, they're constantly involves, constantly invest in themselves, expanding his network. They're going to
Mhm.
succeed. And the rest, we'll see. What
Yeah,
about you? What do you think is about to
100%.
happen?
Yeah, I mean, so like I was kind of in the same way as like, dude, when I first started buying, I would say like around like 2019, 2020, and it's like obviously what I was buying, it was so blatantly obvious. Like people, the guys were just LARPers. Like it was I was just buying drop shipping stuff. But I mean, obviously that stuff did help me because now I'm 5 grand down the hole and now I need to grind at something. So I had no issue with that. My biggest thing is like I'm sure it probably sucks if you have no clue like what's going on and you're fresh, 17-year-old or 18-year-old trying to figure out what to do. It's like, dude, you're getting hammered with every single angle possible and letting everyone's saying, well, this is the best business model, this is the best business model. It's like it would be tough, and I understand it. Now, my whole problem with info is like everyone knows this, but it's crazy that I even have to say it. It's like if you're selling a biz op, you are most definitely not the best in your category. It's like it's crazy that like I've seen guys on TikTok or sorry, X, and they'll be arguing about it. It'd be like, well, dude, like I'm just trying to provide value. It's like, my boy, you're just trying to run up a bag. And you can say you're trying to make money. Nobody gives a fuck if you're selling a course to make money. But the whole issue is like anybody who's doing the thing, if they're actually running up ecom, they're actually running up. I've never seen a software um biz op, but if you're doing any of that, it's like your money and your time and your focus is going to be best put scaling that business and having singular focus, not selling biz ops. So that's like the most obvious thing. But I just saw some guys on X arguing about that the other day. It was like just the dumbest argument. My whole thing is like with coaches, consulting, and courses, it's like, dude, we don't need another course. Like we don't need another high ticket sales course for guys to sell. Like if you're running a sales agency and it's service based, that's completely different from all these guys that were, for example, working for, Jeremy Miner at seventh level. All of those guys, they just run the same offer. They just quit working for Jeremy, and then in their videos, they do these fake role play videos, and they're like, I was the number two guy at seventh level. I was the number one guy at seventh level. And they have these fake role play videos. And it's like, my boy, do you really think anyone actually believes those fake role play sales videos? It's like those are complete bullshit.
Yeah, people are doing nowadays anything to really get some money, which I mean, we're all in the same race. I understand that.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I mean, it's much better to have even the shittiest courses because you're gonna meet people that really want to invest in themselves, and
Mhm.
you need to invest in a lot of them, and then on the sixth one, you'll meet someone who introduces you to some investor, and that's gonna change
Yeah.
your life. It's
100%.
not directly; it's indirect, and also the person that you're becoming. What's the alternative? Spending what 40 grand in? I mean, in the US is crazy. Here in Europe, it's
Right.
much better. Spending 40 grand on college or spending 40 grand on five different courses. I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna learn so many other things. You're gonna see how that system works, the whole business operations from the inside, the upsell, the CSM teams,
Hmm.
uh, the mindset, and everything around it. So, of course,
Right.
I think as you said it, uh, on the group coaching, one to many success rate in the whole world, any niche you name it, it's only 3 to 5%, and not because the course creator or the coach is bad.
Hmm.
It's just it's not a good fit for someone. Just
Right.
like being a good basketball player, if you're 5'5", guess what? You're not gonna play in NBA. You're not gonna be a
Yep.
center. So it just the way it is.
Yeah.
And of course, you're gonna have a lot of skills down the road. It's just one step towards your success, whatever that may be. And I'm all for it. Nowadays, we're seeing tremendous numbers in the health space. There are so many people, they're out of shape. We have so many, supplements, so many healthy foods, this and that, and we
Yeah.
are nowadays record high numbers for obesity, for everything like that. So it's always better. At the end of the day, it's just structure and accountability. That will make it different. We
Mhm.
know what we need to do, but we're not doing it because we didn't put in the work. We're not committed, and that's
Right.
about it. Everything's on YouTube, pretty much. You're gonna get similar things, but it's always better to invest in yourself. That's what I would
Right.
say, because proximity is power, as great Jim Rohn says. Number one thing
Hmm.
for people's success is their environment. At first, I was like, how does that make sense?
Hmm.
Also, people who live the longest, guess what? They live in the rich neighborhoods. That's the number one thing, not their
Yeah.
health. Nothing. That's the number one thing that makes the stat that's
That's
in
funny.
the survey that's always, I don't know how many millions of people were there, which does make sense. Iron sharpens iron. You're gonna get their mindset subconsciously, the habits, and that's how you need to go outside to meet people. Money
Hmm.
is pockets of people that you don't know, so you need to meet them. You need to get
Right.
yourself out there. So if you're at masterminds, if you're on yacht dinners, if you're at 5-star resorts. That's where you're gonna meet some serious business owners who's gonna help you ascend. And at the end of the day, it's leverage. It's who you know, who
Yeah.
knows you, and what kind of value can you provide. Is it
Yeah.
commodities, deal making, investment banking, loans 0% down? That's also a hot offer nowadays. Trading.
Hmm.
That's that's the last piece of the puzzle. Everything before. Do people like you? Do they trust you? Do they think you can actually fulfill or worth investing time, and so on and so forth?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, when you have someone that's real has the most quality of let's say deal maker or person, it
Hmm.
doesn't matter. They're gonna find a way in almost any industry to make great results.
Yeah. No, 100%. I think kind of going back to the info thing, and I agree with what you're saying. Like, dude, I went to private. I got sent to a private college. Long story. I got in trouble at my first university. So my parents sent me to a very Catholic private school, very expensive, but it was like I learned way more from just buying shit and just doing shit on my own versus like I never did any of my homework in college, never went to class. But
It's just
one
expensive kindergarten, yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. One thing with courses too is like I think there's two things with why, well, I mean, there's many things, but aside from the obvious, like there's two things that, it just gets a bad rap is number one, obviously with something where it's the result is determined on the guy that buys it, that's going to have a huge factor. A lot of these people, and it goes back to charging low prices. It's like if you're charging, even only like $1,000, most people can afford $1,000, even if you're
Yeah.
not a bright cookie. You're just the dumber people that you have in your pool, they're probably not going to get as much success. But I think the biggest thing too is this is kind of what I'm against. I'm not so much against BizOp, but also it's like if you're selling a whole business model, granted, a business model you need to understand a handful of skills. If you're selling a whole business model to a complete newbie, the likelihood that they fail is going to be very high. Versus if you're teaching them how to do copy, how to, build funnels, how to get into sales to be an appointment center, it's much different. But like for me, for example, like my first thing that I bought was drop shipping. Drop shipping was the biggest thing. And it's like, sure, if I did drop shipping now, it's like obviously my success would be way higher because now I understand the psychology behind it, the marketing, the sales, how to actually build teams, how to do market research and shit like that. But like when you're selling it to a complete newbie, it's like you're telling these people they can build a full ass company and see success. So I think that's a big reason. But like I understand the guys are selling, sales or copywriting. Like that's a tangible skill.
Of course, I would say first you need your three skills. Number one skill, even though I come from sales, I would
Hmm.
say number one skill would be marketing
Right.
because you don't have the right people in front of you, it doesn't matter. I've seen so many reps on mediocre offers making decent money, and I see average if bad reps on a world class offers, they're making 5 even 6 figures per month. So it's not how hard you row; it's the boat you're in. It takes the same amount of time to close a deal on a payment plan on a firm 36 months whatever
A single mom on a
40%.
firm.
Yeah, yeah, 40% APR or whatever, some insane stuff, 500 credit score, and to close someone for 5 figures or high 4 figures, low five, or something like that, something more serious. So it's actually the market we're in. The same apartment in Manhattan isn't, it's not the same price as some apartment in Mexico or anywhere else in the
Yeah.
world. It
100%.
can be the same building, everything's the same, but it's that proximity that
Yep.
boosts recently. So that makes sense, understand, and it should be a lot of courses there. The biggest problem in the industry is people are entitled. They think they paid $50, 500, doesn't matter,
Yeah.
and that's it. They just paid, and someone owes some success to them. To go back to the story that I started, 3 to 5% success rate is across all group coachings, but over 90% is in one-on-one. You can see that, for example, on
Yeah.
fitness. If you buy a gym membership, you'll go a few months, and then for the most part, if you're not the gym rat, uh, okay, people get sick, they travel, that this and that,
Yep.
job, always something happens. But if you have a personal trainer, you have meal prep, you have supplements, you're all in, you have in your apartment gym, so you don't have to commute, your chances are significantly higher, like over 90%.
Yep.
So people are expecting when they go to school, primary school, high school, college, a master's, PhD, then they work, intern for a year. They spent, I don't know, decades there, and
Yeah.
for let's say medicine, that's okay for them, that path. But in the online world, after a first month, I don't see 10K per month. Like, okay, like I'm in a hurry
Yeah,
for
it's
the results.
crazy.
Come on, I want my money back. Like, it's highly unrealistic to expect those kind of results, especially nowadays, because AI is getting so much better. That means other services gonna they need to really give much more value in order to compete. Claude is doing amazing stuff. A lot of automations are there. You can ask AI instead of the coaches; they'll give you the same, if not better, results for the most part.
Hmm.
So people really need to think long term strategically to see
Yeah.
how they can value and what makes the most sense, because people just want the biggest total addressable market. They just want to, 9 to 5ers, spray and pray,
Hmm.
eh, get 10, 20, 100K, whatever. This business model is the best. I mean, you have successful people in all businesses, pretty much more or less the same. It's about the person, time of the market, how what are their skill set, how they can get help, how they can scale from there.
Yeah.
So
100%.
it's hard to say which business is inferior, which is superior. It's also about a personality. If someone's very shy, it's hard for them to be a business owner. If you are hard at managing people, you cannot
Right.
be
Right. You
firm.
need to partner up
For
with
them,
certain
yeah,
things.
they can be CSM. They can focus on some other things. But for someone, I mean, only 1% or what 3% of people are actually entrepreneurs, and it's very taxing. No one says, "Hey, that's so easy." No one ever.
Hmm.
So people want to become someone they don't have the means to, and people should assess themselves to be realistic with themselves. Okay, this is my maximum. This is my strengths, my weaknesses, and for a great lifestyle, they don't need some insane amount of money. Like you can live very great lifestyle on 20 grand a month. You don't need 200 grand a month.
Right. 100%. Yeah, going back to that. So I was doing sales. This was a couple of years ago, but it was for an Amazon automation company. Granted, a lot of people when you say Amazon automation, it's like, that's bullshit. There's, a bunch of FTC. This company was actually doing it properly. But their whole thing was they were setting proper expectations. It was like they weren't bringing in the masses because they weren't saying, "Hey, you're going to be making 30K a month with an automated business." It was like, hey, if you were already making, 250K a year and you're looking for an extra, 7 to 10% returns versus, your real estate or your stocks, this is something that we're gonna build out for you. We're gonna partner up on this. And I saw two things. Number one, the leads that would come in were just 10 times better. Like I don't think I ever talked to anyone that was broke ever. But number two is also all their clients just got really, really good results because nobody was expecting, 30K a month off the rip. And all these people were coming in and, they already had the money, which was awesome.
Yeah, that's also the thing. What I saw for people that are just learning the skill and a new skill set, or even how to run some type of business.
Yeah.
Um, for them to be successful, they need to go all in, because either half-ass there. I never seen anyone that's doing it on the weekend, 1 hour, and
Yeah.
everything's amazing. But also, if some of them are in between jobs, some of them, have problem with mortgage, with this and that. It's a very big responsibility, and it's a conflict of interest. You as a business owner or a sales rep, you want to close everyone. Facts are closing great and everything, but
Hmm.
are they the best fit? Is this actually the best thing for them? Can they afford it? Can they afford the rent? Whatever, this and that. It's very hard. So people are nowadays are not feeling that responsibility. But on the other hand, if they don't have that push, that pressure, they won't do anything. They're too relaxed. They can order pizza in 2 seconds. They're on dopamine on their
Right.
phones. All so they need that push. They can always go back to the same 9 to 5, which to be honest, no one likes. So that's the name of the game for people that really wanna enjoy what they're doing and to really be proud of. So to
Yeah.
really have sophisticated buyers, someone who understands what's realistic long term,
Hmm.
also their time commitment. And for the most part, if it's too good to be true, you're gonna attract people who are lazy, who don't want to do the work, and they
Yeah.
expect too much. So it's better to go on quantity than quality. Well, people's idea of scale nowadays is just bigger teams, bigger volume, bigger revenue. But why not smaller amount of clients? They're super high end with a lean team. Zero headache,
Yeah.
zero problems. You have better margins and you can organize everything. You can give them better service. Compared to having 50 clients or even more than that. And then obviously when the your internal team is churning and burning, a lot of people are slip through the cracks. They send some email, this and that, so they cannot reach you and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, my biggest thing is, dude, I would much rather have, a leaner team versus a team that's so big and then you're trying to just push everyone through the door. Well, let's talk about this because obviously we're doing similar stuff. You don't need to give if you have secret sauce, you don't need to, give it out. But what's just your overall process for hiring and recruiting for reps?
Best thing ever, join as many masterminds, communities, high-end courses over 5, 10,000 ideally, and you'll find quality people there. And
Hmm.
all the referrals. That's how all the best deals are made. Very rarely it's through hiring. Can happen, maybe LinkedIn or other platforms or other professional recruiters, headhunters,
Yeah.
but everything is internally. I'm fortunate enough to have very big Rolodex. And when you're at the top, it's a very small space in any industry. Everyone knows each other. So you
Yeah.
know who's been on the market for the last few years, has amazing results, and they can always refer their friends because people are around people that are on their same frequency, energy, however you want to call it. So that's overall best thing ever. That's why proximity matters. How you dress, how you talk, what standards
Mhm.
are you setting for yourself, for your health?
Yeah.
Are you using call language? Are you going late to sleep? Are you, of course, no one has hundreds of those checked, but the more you have those little green flags, the better it is.
Hmm. Yeah. So,
Especially if we're speaking corporate or some enterprise level of business. If you're in a hoodie, it's not gonna
right.
cut it. Of course, if you're selling a biz up to a 20-year-old, that's okay. But the more sophisticated it is, the the less room for error you have.
Hmm. Yeah. So you're technically not even doing any cold hiring. Everything is just referrals of people you already know.
Of course, at this point, yeah, that and it's the most quality. It's an official study. I think LinkedIn also posted it. 80%
Hmm.
or 78%, all top positions. I was fortunate enough to work with one gentleman. He was top at Meta, so like top, I don't know,
Nice.
10, 100 people. So I saw a lot of studies, and all those CEO positions, they are not making, hey, here's an interview and you apply, and a recruiter
Right.
interviewing a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. It's not like that. So everything's internal. So good people hang out aside also top performers, and that's how it's done for 80%, 8 out of 10. It's already filled before it's even posted in the public.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm pretty similar, obviously for the teams that we're running, it's not very, very large. We don't need to bring on, 10 centers at a time. But you'd be surprised. Like I see a ton of these guys that are at least I think they're big and they're still posting on their story like, hey, I need setters and things like that, which you would assume they just have people coming in automatically, or they
It's
can just
crazy.
reach around their community.
It's crazy because nowadays there's so many people, and it happens at the biggest companies. I spoke with decision makers from Google, Facebook, and other big companies. Palantir recently they sacked like 20,000 people or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's crazy.
What was it? That was crazy. And even people at the in the biggest companies, after a few years, they want a new challenge. Their attention span is so short nowadays. They want something else to do. They're bored. So we have so many people who are looking for ideal position and all the companies that want top talent simultaneously. So it's hard, so much harder to make a match, even with a significant other, with the business, with a lot of things. So it's a numbers game. If done right, it's a smaller scale, but it's a still numbers game.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm similar. Like I said, like majority of the people that I'm hiring, they already are from referrals. Once in a while, what I'll do is like I'll always put a feeler out just to because I have a Rolodex of I have spreadsheets for every single role in every single industry that I've filtered out. So I pretty much already have them, ranked with the top of the list. But I always put out feelers, even if I'm not particularly hiring right then. I'll always make posts, for example, on Facebook or Instagram and get people in. My biggest thing is I do a lot of like hard filtering. So the way that I'm running, a hiring funnel is the same thing that I'm doing for paid ads. It's very, very direct and it's very, very like robust. So it's like, hey, you know, this is exactly what you're going to be doing. Make it very, very realistic as far as how much you're actually going to be making. And then the biggest thing too is like if you are X, Y, and Z, do not like if you are not from the US or if you're not, you know, English is a first language, do not apply. Or something very, very obvious. And you got to put it in the form, you got to put it on the application as many times as possible. One thing that I've seen, which has actually worked pretty well, is I always run them to like a type form or a Google form, is, I'll make it very, very robust. Last thing is always a Loom video, obviously.
Oh,
But what we do is, we say in that Loom video, it needs to be between 2 minutes to 3 minutes exactly. In between that time of your video, you need to include, for example, the word banana. And you'll
I
you'll be
heard that one. Yeah,
surprised. You'll be surprised, like 90% of the people, they won't even put it in there. And then I'll
yeah,
talk to them, just to have a conversation and just to see if, I was right. And a lot of times it's like, all right, well, you wouldn't have even been good, but let alone you can't follow instructions versus the guys that I'm like, okay, well, I'm actually impressed. Like you seem decent. They always follow that instruction every single time.
yeah. Also, some of people have some secret code that pops up on that 20-minute breakdown video Loom that explains everything about a position. And exactly, the lower the barrier of entries, you have so many people that are just breaking into the industry that bought a lot of those courses they were promised 10, 20, 50 grand a month positions, and they feel entitled to. So if someone has martial arts background, fitness background, army background,
Yeah,
business background, or something, when you see they have higher energy, they're coachable. That's 90% of being
yeah,
a great team
100%.
player. 70% of people in the world are not working in the field that they actually finish studies for. So it's about the opportunity that's in front of you. And with time, you can learn everything. But if someone has a bad attitude, bad mindset, that you cannot change that. It takes so much energy and months and years. It doesn't make sense. So just like you said, really filter people. It's better to have 5 people in the interview, they're perfect position, and to have 200
Right.
applicants, then also do that manually. And they think they have an opportunity, but they know it. They don't have the chance. So nowadays it's easier than ever to stand out. Just, I mean, be yourself. Everyone says that. What I like to say is have exact 1 minute to Loom, because in 1 minute you can say literally everything, in 3 sentences. What do
Right.
you do? People should pick you, and that's about it. People that have 6 minute Looms, I know they're unprofessional, because do you really think some recruiter or business owner has 6 minutes times 200 applicants to wait? I
Right.
mean, your high school diploma or whatever, which was your favorite color, favorite sport, doesn't really do anything. So it's what's in it for me at the end of the day. That's how everyone is looking at. So you can tell a lot about by the way how people are communicating. Either
Mhm.
straight to the point, especially when I worked in investment banking, they're super direct.
Yeah.
They're fast. They don't waste time. They run and live by their calendar,
Yeah.
and that's how it's done. So the language they use, how they're making decisions, who they know, what habits do they have.
Hmm.
It's exactly the same pattern. Exactly the same pattern.
Hmm. Yeah. 100%. One thing that I'm doing right now, and do you know Cole Gordon?
Yeah, of course, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. So he has fire right now. He has fire YouTube videos. I don't know if you've been watching
Amazing
them.
podcast, by the way. Amazing
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been watching a lot of his stuff. So there's been a couple of things that I've been running from just all the stuff that I've been learning from him is so number one is I'm focusing a huge amount of my time and it's hard because a lot of people, you have so many fat cat closers, but I'm focusing
Mm.
a lot of my time on just bringing on full cycle reps. It's like, dude, if I can find one just dog who just doesn't give a fuck and will not only close deals, but he's just going to go out after he's closing deals and just dialing. It's like, I would much rather have that than have to bring on, for example, a broccoli hair kid be a setter because I have leads coming in. I'd much rather just have that. And then number two, what I saw is he was talking about, Cole Gordon was talking about how obviously the biggest thing with sales is the bottleneck is always going to be at the beginning, the setters, because setters are going to be, lower sales ability. They're getting paid the least. So essentially what he does is he brings on closers to start as setters, but he's just paying them way more. So like the average of what people are paying is typically 5% if it's commission only. He said he's just bringing on people and he's paying them, 7 to 8%. And then he's giving them a path to become a closer as soon as possible. And then essentially you bring on two closers that are killers. Not only are they making more money um, as setters, but then they're also in competition because they can see a clear roadmap and they're just going back and forth. So that's kind of one thing that I've been focusing on is just paying people more and then just bringing on way more skilled people because he's actually seen that he's cut his lead spend down by like 20% by just paying people 2% more. Which is awesome.
Exactly. So people are, especially smaller business owners, for some reason, they expect top tier S8 tier
Yeah.
people in their team, but paying them something, that's a joke. Like it doesn't make sense, So why would someone who's a A player work for you? They could be selling literally anything, making 50 grand, 100 grand a month. Like why? Why would someone be in someone who has 10 grand that spend per month?
Right.
Doesn't make sense. So they're not realistic, and that's the best thing because uh, problem with sellers is they want to put anyone and everything that breeds on the calendar.
Yep.
They are not in a frame. They're like, please be on a call. We're the best, but please, please, please. They are pretty much the end. They're so afraid that they're pretty much customer service mode. They lost all the credibility. People are no showing. So it really needs to be the firm frame because people are not gonna set it. There's always someone at the hospital, some emergency, which is always, of course, a lie. One time I had 10 people there saying, "Yeah, I'm at the hospital. Something happened to someone that I had a." No, they were just lazy. They didn't think it was very serious, and that's about it. Because the messaging and everything was that when I worked with one, they were at the time number one Airbnb offer in the market. They had very nice copywriting. They said if you no show it's going to be 100 $200, and like we know how to
To get
collect.
back on to the calendar.
No, no, on the VSL, like
General.
if they
Ah,
book, like it's a free, it's a bonus free consult, whatever. But if you no show, it's something like that no show fee, like just like doctor's office on other offices. So you have a lot of people that are like, let me pick your brain, like pretty
yeah,
much
yeah.
free consult. Like it's doesn't make sense. Brian Tracy also said, okay, get someone that really want to pick their brain, pay them a lunch or a breakfast, and give any type of value that you can. Doesn't have to be much. And of course, be mindful of everything. So that's what makes sense. So sellers, problems with them, they churn super fast, few months to get new one. By the time you hire them, you train them, they find a little bit better opportunity. They want to be a closer as soon as possible. So finding someone who's a full cycle is so much easier to manage. You can see pretty much leads, conversion rate, super easy. So it's much better, but it's harder and harder because all those fat cats are they bought that idea, just sip cocktails on a beach and you have a few
Yeah.
calls a day and you make 10, 20 grand and that's about it. Only a few percent of consultants even make themselves as a business over six figures a year. I don't know, 5% or something like that. So
Yeah.
that this insane influx of people that want to work with, everyone wants to work with top companies. So it's highly competitive. So
Hmm.
people that are a few years in the industry, the more years you are, then you have less competitors at that stage. But nowadays, it's all about marketing, and if you can get in a room with high decision makers, business owners, to work with them. So
100%. Yeah, I think that's been honestly one of the worst things is making painting sales as a business model. It's like regardless if it's 1099, you're still an employee. Like this is still a job. So it's like you
mhm.
don't have leverage in sales if you're just a closer or a setter. You don't have any leverage. So it's like you still got to put in 50 to 60 hours. Even when I was simply just taking calls, I was literally just sitting here all day long taking calls. But now everybody thinks, oh, well, this guy in his ad, he painted the math out to me. He said that if you take 3 calls a day, if you close one of them, you can make $300 and then it just stacks up. It's like, my boy, if you're selling B2C, 3 calls a day, the likelihood that all three of those show, let alone two, very, very low. If you have 3 calls a day, zero of them are going to be qualified if you're selling the classic B2C. So it's like
Yeah,
you're going to have to rip 10 calls on your calendar and hope that 5 show up.
and of course, not everyone's looking at monthly OTE. No one's looking at the yearly because the offer
Yeah,
hasn't been in the market for a year, or someone at
exactly.
that position. So that's the thing. Everyone's painting the perfect picture. What about the refunds? What about all the payment processor taking a percentage? What about payment plans that don't go through? What about this? What about that? So I think industry standard nowadays for show rate is 50-60%. It's bad overall. So
Yeah.
literally people need to double book the slots for the most part. I have so many people they confirm or the text or the call and always something comes up or they're in the car or they're somewhere or without a
Yeah.
video. They need 10 minutes to open everything up. And also um, calls there are hard closes because one call closes. It's do or die. It can take over 90 minutes. So
Right.
for the financing, paperwork, onboarding, and everything with it. So it can be tricky, but it's yeah, high risk, high reward. I think everyone should go through it to experience at least a few months. How is it to have that bandwidth to grow as a person, to handle that much stress?
Yeah.
It really makes you a better person if you know how to ride through all of that, and you'll be much better as a business owner or any other position after that. That's
Mhm.
definitely a unique experience. You'll meet so many people
Yeah.
throughout. I'm really grateful that I had this a great ride so far.
Yeah. 100%. So tell me a little bit more about right now your own offer that you're building.
Yes, I have my own mastermind, and I'm also helping to build offers with few partners. It's one is in the health niche, one is in the business niche.
Hmm.
So it's very similar offers like you've seen it before. I just want to use everything that we talked today to put
Hmm.
it in practice. So no BS, straight, simple, going to the for the higher ticket and service industry, top 5% earners. and really work with the people that you love. Doesn't matter if it's a higher or smaller profit compared to the relentlessly growing at all costs. For
Yeah.
some for some reason, people have think that if they're not growing 10x every year, they're doing something wrong. But
Hmm.
all the biggest companies that we've seen, they were growing steady, so they had a steady rate,
Right.
because you can internally people will break, and of course the fulfillment and everything needs to suffer for that. And also, as
Yeah.
we know, ads at some point they just stop working, and you need to really see what's wrong after you exhaust your little market. You need to have different funnels, different ways of acquisitions, and to see what's there in the market. So those two niches are my go-to for now.
Hmm.
Focus is on the over delivering, having big LTV, leading with value, as corny as it sounds, but in the
Hmm.
long run, that's what matters. Having a good trust pilot reviews, staying relevant, have testimonials, and go around it.
Hmm. So you're with those offers, is it same? You're just ripping back end sales ops stuff, or are you actually going on with helping them build the offer and going 50/50 on it?
Also, I'm everything but operations. Also helping with the offer, coaching. That's huge. The actual
Hmm.
delivery, and the number one thing that everyone can improve is just to put more value and have bigger package, because
Hmm. Yeah.
they're competing with their marketing. Their profit margins are very thin, and they're operating out of fear. And they have big volume, big revenue, but the profit is very slim. That's why it's better to have, $100 more per booked call, per showed
Right.
call. But you have someone you can close for 8 grand, 20 grand, then have someone that's $20, whatever, $50, $100, but you charge them 2 grand, because the volume is gonna take so much energy, and it's super hard to scale that way. So
Yeah.
offer and messaging, that's 80% of everything. If that's wrong, everything after that is doesn't work. So that's also the big challenge in the industry. Everyone's looking at the closer, but
Hmm.
everything for that, like they're not looking at, like, okay, they either close or didn't close, and that's it. Someone
Right.
had 5 grand in the bank. This was 5 grand. Like, yeah, but that guy needs to eat next month. Like, it's gonna take like a few months for
Right.
this to work. So everyone's looking only at the last piece of the puzzle, the last
Right.
drop that filled that cup, and spilled it isn't the fault. It's actually everything needs to work. But of course, if you have someone that's it works for 10 guys and it doesn't work for the 11th guy, okay, it's probably because of that guy if it works so well.
Right.
But uh,
100%.
just also what Cole mentioned is all the best people, they have the highest offer. They have
Yeah.
the number
100%.
one people in each industry. People are expecting more. They're gonna actually be more committed. They're gonna value more, and it's less competition. So
Yep.
it's much better to have a much bigger room to play with. You can actually pay top talent for the fulfillment for your CTO, CMO, and from there you can scale in a better way.
Yeah. 100%. One thing that you mentioned in that, which was what I was gonna say, is like so many different business owners, they just take a look at the last piece of the puzzle. It's like if the closer didn't close the deal, they're like, well, the closer's shit. And it's like, sure, that very well could be the thing. But dude, I've talked to so many different business owners, and the whole mindset shift that I had to get them out of is like the closer is not here to save the day. He's here simply just to push people in the right direction. And I've talked to so many different business owners, for example, that were one of them, their offer didn't just make sense at all. And then they were just, bro, I need a better closer. I need a new closer. And I'm like, well, my boy, do you even have any proof of concept? Like, have you ever closed this dude myself? No, of course not, but I'm not a sales guy. I'm like, well, dude, if your offer is so good and you're so good at what you do, even if you don't have the technical sales training, you should be able to hop on calls and close people. But the reality is it's just not that good. And then the other one was a big difference is I see a lot of business owners, their landing page or whatever they're running. is completely different from their ad. And it's like they'll bring in a lead claiming this is like some free shit. And then their landing page is mentioning that it's paid. And then the people get on the sales calls and they're completely confused. So the biggest problem that I see with business owners is there's an incongruency with their marketing, either their landing page, like the different marketing aspects, or what their setters are saying to people when they come through. And it's like, obviously, no one wants to buy something when it's a bait and switch. That's not a sales rep problem. That's a problem with how you actually train sales teams and how you build out your marketing infrastructure.
Exactly. That's because it's a conflict of interest. Seller's interest to set everything that breeds.
Hmm.
Closer's interest to have as little calls as possible to make a sale. So have a highest closing rate. So that's why, because if a seller sets someone who has, I don't know, very bad credit score, it's not in a very bad energy, they're always gonna find a reason why to set them and put everything out under the bush. They're very shaky, beating around the bush when it comes to finances and hard questions, hard disqualifying questions, and they're going from some literally VA vibe that kills the deal. If someone is a business owner, he speaks with someone who is like, "Hey, Mister, please, thank you so much for your
Yeah,
time."
yeah.
Free concept, like it reeks low value, and then it's very hard compared to if the business owner were speaking or someone, "Hey, if you don't show, you're on our blacklist, and that's it, and we cannot work anymore." And also, for example, for some offers, they can also charge for that initial consult.
Yeah.
And if they don't like the consult, they can give the money back. But it's gonna actually get people have the skin in the game to be there. So if
Hmm.
you are afraid of some refundable deposit, there are very high chances that it's not for you. But also on some other offers, if you have obviously you need to have amazing sales team, you can put a lot of people and have very, let's say, easy qualification, but they need to really hard close them. For some offers I seen, for one gentleman from Australia, he used this approach and he 10x or whatever 8x the revenue. That
Hmm.
depends. You need to have amazing sales team, and you have also to have good messaging for people that are already in that space that know what they're doing. So it needs to be a little bit of a sophisticated niche to offer as well.
Yeah.
But it's all trial and error. Just get your show rate up, close rate up, LTV. Obviously, the higher the better. Drive down the churn rate. Have multiple touch points. Have
Hmm.
SOPs, APIs, systems in place. The more smaller steps you have, the better it is. The more numbers you track. And at the end of the day, it is a numbers game. There's always going to be some churn and burn, but the more funnels you have and the longer the offer has been in the market, the more stable it is, the better it is. I've seen people that closed hundreds of millions that when they jumped to manage some offers, it didn't work out. It doesn't matter they're bad people or whatever. It just didn't
Right.
work out. It can be of so many reasons. FTC now came into play. Types, of course, people are sacking off people in the professional, let's say, IT space. It doesn't matter if you're good or bad. If the market is really bad, it's gonna take effect, especially on the real estate. So
Hmm.
it's you need to know when to go in, when to scale, what not to, when to grow, what's the best thing, when to take money out. People are taking money
Right.
out so fast, so fast. They don't have a fund. They don't have any cybersecurity. They don't have any legal team. They don't know what they don't know. There are so many other things, especially when the team is above 200 people. That's when they're
Hmm.
becoming closer to corporate. That's where they need to have all those systems because it's impossible to run it any different way.
Hmm. Yeah. 100%. Do you have a hard stop at
No,
all
no, no. I'm good.
coming soon? Okay.
I'm good to go.
Um, what offers have you seen just for anything like service base or info do you see ripping right now? Because I'm always on Facebook ad library trying to snipe what people are doing. I see some interesting ones.
I mean, just like I was saying, one thing is revenue. Another thing is profit margin. That's actually scalable with a lean
Right.
team. I see now peptides are doing amazing, health niche, but I see a lot of lawsuits. My friends are there, so it depends what what they're gonna go approve. Maybe it's a no go, so it's gonna destroy everything. Maybe they approve everything, so
Hmm.
maybe they're gonna put them in every pharmacy out there, so you don't need online or whatever. We'll see how that plays out, but it's definitely a new magic pill that people think they're gonna wipe all of their problems away. So they're gonna be lean and shredded with $100 a month. The so the health, but going at the for the very wide area that's ripping. Trading is also doing nice.
Hmm.
Saw crypto I haven't seen lately doing good. Also, I mean, BizUp is evergreen more or less, but a little bit less than before. Uh,
Hmm.
Professional services SaaS that's growing a little bit. So I would say it's all about the company. Like I seen
Right.
some CMs and sellers making over 20 grand a month, more than some business owners. So if you're in the best company in some medium niche, you're doing amazing. If you're the worst company in the best industry, you're not doing so good. At the end of the day, it's all about that. If you have the founder has the energy, who's open
Right.
minded, who wants to change things, who can take a critique, who can, okay, I'm not the smartest. Maybe you know something that I don't. A lot
Hmm.
of people are like, hey, we did this for years. It's good enough. Like that's why people are actually changing positions because they want to manage, they want to create something, and no one is actually listening. So
Right.
especially with I seen the best funnels they're working are just super simple, like they were doing in the 90s. Okay, here's what Google call, okay, that's
Hmm.
it. No fancy stuff, no that parallax effect popping up. The better the website is, like some, that luxury fashion brands, it's not optimized for service high ticket sales. It's okay, you browse whatever, you save, you come back. It's a brand. It's
Hmm.
something totally different. So this is need to capture their attention and just to go funnel style. Are they your actual clients or not?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's the thing. People want
Yeah.
to help so broad audience, which is killing them, and they're hard to differentiate. And they think their market is too small, but they
Right.
have like 10 clients, and they think, yeah, I exhausted my market. Like chances are you're not.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, Hormozy always talks about it. It's like the amount of business owners that say like, oh, well, I want to just sell to all niches or I want to expand to this niche. It's like, dude, you're making like 50K a month. There's companies that are very, very niche. Dude, there are some companies out there that are doing the most bizarre niches and they're just absolutely ripping because no one else is just thinking about, niching down that much. So that's a good point.
That's what people are saying. The people with the most jets are people in waste management or boring industries like that. They're
Right.
evergreen. And a good friend of mine, he has a marketing slash business AI mastermind. It's 50 grand a year.
Hmm.
And they have a little course, and less than 8% of people even open that, which is crazy. They're there for the market, for the network. They're not there for some crazy knowledge. There's nothing wow or astonishing or some hidden knowledge that's
Right.
people more successful than others. It's just having a system, accountability, and having that intention and intensity. People are lukewarm. They just want to go around, not offend anyone. And but
Yeah.
people need to have the enemy, need to know who we help, who we don't help, who uh, how I see one of the traits that someone is very professional and has a quality as a person is if it's a borderline if they can help someone or not. Maybe they can, but it wouldn't be, 10 out of 10 service. They refer them to their competitors, if you will. That's why I know, okay, they
Yeah.
have a balance mindset. Hey,
Yeah.
we're doing this, but it's not the best fit. Here, go to those guys. They are the best fit. Well, take care.
Yeah.
Now I see, okay, those are people I'm gonna refer them, even though I didn't have been doing any business with them. I'm gonna refer them to other people. Hey, they actually are doing amazing service. And I'm always trying to connect people and to refer, get a triple effect going.
Right. Yeah, it's almost reverse psychology, but the reality is, dude, if you're on a sales call and you're just ripping like about another company, it's just the worst thing. It just shows poorly on you, but also it's like the reality is if you're talking bad about somebody, nobody's going to take it, you know, at face value and listen to you right away. But if you're just saying, hey, that other company, I'm sure they're doing well, I'm not 100% sure what they're doing. You just come at it more neutral, or like you said, like people are referring people. It's like it's almost reverse psychology how that, and it's crazy that stuff works, but it really does.
Yeah, I mean, that should be done obviously at the setting stage, but with the marketing and copy and positioning and pre-call assets, that shouldn't happen ever. Because if you're really pinpointing what you do, what you don't do, then it should be very clear. But as you know, there are always people that are snooping. They just wanna see what's out there without actually committing, which is okay. Only 3% of the market is actually ready to buy.
Hmm.
So people need to get that emails to get them on those newsletters to warm them even more until it's a good time to pull the trigger.
Yeah, 100%. I guess what are you going to be working on the next you got a 10-year vision or you're just kind of playing it by ear?
Yeah, pond. It's crazy if someone 4 or 5 years ago told me, well, I'm gonna travel the world, meet those insanely successful people, I'll be like, yeah, yeah, sure. It's nowadays internet, one flight away, you can be around the globe. You
Right.
can, so you can change your life super fast. So I have a 5 year goal. Now, goal is to make those mastermind events, double down on that, and we
Hmm.
have even bigger clients. They're
Yeah.
all gonna fulfill better. So just doubling down what works so far. So that's pretty much nothing crazy, but
Yeah,
it works and it's
100%.
realistic.
Yeah, it's always good to have a plan, but the reality is what you say you're going to be doing in the next 10 years, it's probably going to be different. Like the amount of times you got to pivot and change what you're doing, business model, or things go south, it's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen so many people in those small niches like dating, whatever, they all shifted because it's just like we said, we spoke before, the clientele it has so much headaches.
Yeah.
So that they shifted to NLP to some other things that I saw. So that's the thing. It's good to have a direction, but how it will play out, it can
Right.
be worlds apart. But it's good to have direction to know where you're going and why. People are just putting some numbers because they sound good, but do you actually need seven, eight, nine, 10 figure, whatever exits and raising capital for that sort of amount? You can do that with no problem, but okay, now
Right.
you need to fulfill, and is that the answer? Is more always the answer? And we're gonna get used to everything. Is it 1,000 a month or million a month?
Exactly.
After years, we're gonna be used to that. And now what? So if you're not satisfied where you are right now, it's hardly going to change. People think, yeah, when this happens, everything's gonna change. But our toys just get more expensive, and that's
Yeah.
and our expense goes with it. So it's all about all those cliche answers and sayings. They're all right. The wrong people were using it. That was the problem,
Yeah.
but they all make sense. It's what
Yeah.
you make from have few real friends, doing what you love, be proud of your work, and have fun a little bit.
Yeah. 100%. Like for me, going off that, like I've been traveling for the past like 12 months, not, new place every week. It's like, I go to a country maybe for 90 days. Maybe I go to like two different cities, but even then it's like every single time back when I first started, I'm like, oh, when I go to this place, it's going to be so sick. And then I go there and I'm like, well, this is cool. And then after it's like, okay, this is normal. So that's the whole thing is like, every single thing on earth you're gonna get used to, no matter how much money you have, no matter how many bitches you have, for lack of a better term. You get used to everything.
Yeah, the best time I ever had was at the most basic places, but the people around it would so positive, full of energy, and that's what matters. It's not where you're at, it's who you're with.
Facts. That's facts. So where can everyone find you?
I'm on all social media, literally. So I'll drop the links down below in the description, so people
Perfect.
can DM me if they have any questions about anything. Probably I'll be booked, so I can always refer someone to help them out. It depends where they are on their journey. Are they mastering some skill,
Hmm.
launching a business, preparing an exit, raising funds? I mean,
Hmm.
it's a small world, so you're only a few connections away to where you want to go. And it was people would be surprised how everyone knows and can help them in some way. There's from one coach called Steve Maxwell.
Hmm.
He heard somewhere that you should always tell people what you do, literally everywhere.
Yeah.
And she went to some lady. She was a tailor, and she said it to her like, he was like, okay, like someone told me to do it, I'll do it, but I know it's not gonna work. And she
Yeah.
said, great, like your coach, my son, my father-in-law's, uncle,
Oh
this and
yeah.
that, he's also dad, boom, and they made good business. It's
Yeah.
everyone knows someone, so directly or indirectly.
Yeah, I've had some funny, I feel like a lot of times when I have like good connections or, I'm able to close deals or get connected to people, it's like at a bar or some shit, like super random. Like I'm not even, in the business mindset. I'm not forcing it. I'm just having casual conversation. People are like, oh, you should talk to this.
Yeah.
So,
Offices are for 9 to 5ers. I also heard in
facts.
China and other cultures, all the business owners, the decision makers, they're meeting at golf courses,
Right.
country clubs, restaurants. That's when they're shaking hands. It's not in the office. They're just doing the admin work there. So
Yeah,
they made
100%.
decisions way before.
Facts. Well, I appreciate you for hopping on. This is a fire call. I'll shoot you over the recording after this, and then I'll put your links down in the description.
Perfect. It was a pleasure, John.
Yes,
Till
sir,
next
appreciate
time.
it.
Take care,
Talk to you
guys.
later.